Hi everyone, this is Neha. Hope you guys are doing well. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about boundaries and what they are, when to use them, and how I had issues with setting boundaries and how I overcame them. So let me start with my background. In case you don't know, I was born in India and my family moved to the United States when I was 5 years old. And I grew up in a joint family. I didn't live with my parents. I didn't grow up with them. I grew up with my aunt and uncle and grandparents. But I grew up in a joint family, so we had all these traditional customs that we did, which I really enjoyed, and then close knit Indian traditional values. That was at home. And at school, I grew up with American friends who were very independent, and I had gotten a lot of exposure to people of different nationalities. So I had Asian friends, I had Hispanic friends, Latino, African American, all sorts. So I got to observe and I got to learn how they lived, and completely different. Well, in our Indian family, we have all these rules and controls that the parents typically have on kids, especially Gujarati family. You don't have that in American families. And many times they have so much more freedom, obviously, than us. And, we're taught in the Indian culture that this freedom is not that good to a certain extent. So that was already the basis of my childhood right there, right? So I was kind of already not sure what boundaries meant, but I knew that I was very independent. Continued on into college. I actually had a lot of independence in college, which was great because I got time away from my family. And so I got to know me, my likes, my dislikes, to a certain extent because I was still with the Indian family. And then went out into the corporate world. And from there, things just completely changed because there was two versions of me altogether. The corporate world, as a developer, as a female developer, back when there weren't that many, I had to learn to be more strong and more independent. And there were situations that not everybody could have dealt with, but that's fine. I'm not venting on this. This is just something that I think everybody should be aware of. So this is how I got into being very independent. And then on my family side, because we still had our gatherings, our celebrations that we do, which is really the fun part of our traditions, I was always, okay, this is what everybody does, following and very dependent on them. And I didn't really have any boundaries. I would always say yes to everything and just go with the flow. Go with the flow. And I still, at the same time, I had different types of friend circles, my colleagues from previous jobs, current jobs, my college friends, friends that I've made along with my kids, and all of that. Cut to 2020, the lockdown, when I had my awakening, and I was realizing what the heck was going on with me. I realized I had created different versions of myself, and people had created different versions of me based on how they knew me. And I didn't have any boundaries for myself. See, the version of me that I had with my family kind of dwelled into the same version of me that was with some of my Desi friends, because they have the same mindset, same cultural values. So if I tried to set any boundaries with my friends over the years, I did get some sort of triggers from them. And I knew it. I would even talk about this in the workplace. I don't know what I'm doing, but they do get triggered. So I knew, and I was always adapting in one way, shape, or form. But I just didn't want to make any changes because I didn't want to rock the boat. So when I had my awakening in 2020, I was like, I think I'm done. And I started setting boundaries, finally started saying no to things. And I remember the first time I said no to something family related. Oh boy, it triggered everybody. There were some people that understood, but some that didn't. And that's when I realized their triggers are not my problem. See, the thing is, in our Indian culture, we are taught if we hurt somebody that we need to take care of them. And then that's when you become dependent and you are not independent. Now, again, I'm not picking any sides because I love the Indian part of me. I also like the American part of me. I'm a human being, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. But them not understanding my boundaries, it was quite the ride. And this is why I'm saying, now, if you want to set boundaries for yourself, if you're tired of adjusting for people around you, and especially in the Desi community, no offense to you if you are Desi, you guys just, that's just how it is. I was in it for a long time. Not to say that I like, I'm away from it, but I'm just choosy where I want to spend my time, because it's a lot of hard work for me to adjust. Honestly, it takes me more time to adjust and be different depending on who's around me. I'd rather just be me. And it doesn't matter if you've awakened. It doesn't matter if you've taken this. It doesn't matter if you've eaten meat or you don't. None of these. Like, these are all just ways to divide ourselves. If we let people be true to who they are, everything would be so much more effortlessly, and we could actually create the world that we want to have for us and our future generations. But the thing is, you put all these labels, this and that. And I'll tell you right now, if you are one that puts things in labels, I probably will keep my distance from you, because it's too much work for me, honestly. After going through all these experiences, which is fun, I'm not saying none of it is bad. It was a great experience, and I think it's not for the faint of the heart, but once you go through it, you realize, why did I take so long to go through it? But set boundaries. It's always good to set boundaries for yourself. Mental health matters at the end of the day, and this is where we see people having depression. We see people having health issues and just breaking down, because and anxiety. Like, I remember I had anxiety in my 20s and I didn't understand why. And as I went through this awakening, I'm like, my anxiety was because I wasn't setting boundaries with people. And now that I have these boundaries, I don't have any anxiety. I don't have panic attacks. Then they're both different, by the way. And if I do, it's very rare. Okay. And obviously I still have work to do on myself. I think we're constantly working. We're constantly trying to be a better version of ourselves. But if we're open to the idea to let people be who they are without boxing them and labeling them in some specific category, we won't even need boundaries. But sad reality is not everybody's in the same journey in this life. And so some of us do need to make boundaries for ourselves. So make those boundaries if you feel like somebody's taking some energy from you and not helping you. It's okay. We all need to take care of ourselves. And that's the one biggest lesson I learned in this lockdown. Nobody's going to take care of me if I don't take care of myself. And as a mom, it's the hardest thing because I like to put others first. And on that note, walk away if you've tried to set boundaries and it's not working. It's not worth it. I'm not saying break from all of these relationships that you have, whether, they're spouses or whether they're, friendships, but just if it's hurting you emotionally and mentally, it's probably a good idea to take a break and find yourself. And then if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And it's okay to be alone. Being alone does not mean you're lonely. One can be lonely in a group of people that they're surrounded with. I can tell you from experience. On that note, if you like this video, please like it. If you have any comments on this topic, please do so, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you.